very cheerful morning to all of you. Myself Aradhya Khamra. I am a student of Delhi World Public School Rajkot studying in class 9th. These days, we hear many news of gun shooting in the United States which are rather serious because the criminal in most of the times is a teenager and many dozens of people are killed in those shootings. This is only a glimpse of what might occur of our mental health if we do not take care of a changing lifestyle. The brain is a complex biological machine which secretes some chemicals known as hormones that act as transmitters of messages to various organs of the body. Generally, there are four basic hormones which take part in our everyday emotions and everyday life. These are named as serotonin, dopamine, endorphin, and oxytocin, as you can see in the chart. Now, serotonin is known as the mood stabilizer of our system. It means that whenever the amount of serotonin is complete in our body, then we are emotionally more stable and we are happier than most of the times. Serotonin is produced by the midline of the brainstem, and the methods of increasing serotonin are running, meditating, sun exposure, or eating fiber-rich diets. Dopamine is the reward system of our body and it works in an evolutionary way. For example, whenever we do any task which makes us feel good, then dopamine gets released in our body and motivates us to do more of that task. Dopamine can be increased by doing self-care activities and celebrating little wins as well. Endorphin is the painkiller of our body and it helps us to do our work better and fight the pain. Endorphin can be increased by watching comedy or eating dark chocolate. Oxytocin is the love hormone of our body because it is responsible for the bonding between parents and students. It can be increased by playing with dogs or pets and then hugging each other. So oxytocin is also a very important hormone because it plays a major role. A range of mental disorders also occur during the teenage time because the mind is developing in this stage. However, a deficiency of good diet is also responsible for these disorders. For example, from the age of 14 to 24, a range of mental disorders such as mood disorders, substance abuse, OCD, eating disorders, personality disorders, and schizophrenia also occur between teenagers, and a major role in this is a changing lifestyle. For example, these days students have to do a lot of work, which means stress, and stress is not good for our body because it hampers our hormone system, and so we feel anxious and we also face obesity. The same thing happens due to junk food, as it contains a lot of sugars and fats, so it hampers our nervous system, and so the hormones are released in the wrong amounts, which means that we are not able to even feel our emotions very properly. That is why balanced diets are always needed because they give us a mood boost as well. Then, the pollution these days is a major problem in our nervous system. This is because whenever we breathe, the air pollutants get mixed into our bloodstream and then reach our brains, which causes inflammation of the brain cells, which is rather dangerous for the brain because hormones cannot be secreted in the right amounts. Similarly, water contains lead, which hampers our protein receptors of the brain, and so we cannot sense our things properly, and the hormones released increase stress. For example, they are more angrier than people living in rural areas because they are more exposed to the pollution. After that, lack of sleep is also a major problem these days. People do a lot of work, so they are not able to get adequate sleep. That is why our brain does not get enough rest, and so the chemicals released by the brain are imbalanced, and that is why we are not able to act properly. Social media is also a very big danger these days because social media can definitely be positive for our brain because it increases the dopamine or the happy hormones of our body. However, social media also brings out comparison between each other, and it also brings out stress, which in turn is very bad for our body. Some common sleep deprivation symptoms include hallucinations, paranoia, etc. So, the conclusion is that if we want to lead a good lifestyle, we should care about our mental health, and for that, we should also care about how we are living, what we are eating, and where we are living as well. Cleanliness is not just a word, it is a way of life, and it is behind all the cultures, the value of cleanliness is the most important. That is why we see that these days people are getting concerned about their older cultures because they knew the value of the clean environment and they also knew its effects on the brain. Thank you.